Gonna fill that shoe. New tonight, a popular Bahamian song sheds light on the ongoing nursing shortage amid plans for a new hospital. The union's concerns about staffing straight ahead. Also, Public Hospitals Authority addresses concerns over morgue conditions following a diesel spill. We'll tell you the ongoing cleanup efforts in partnership with Rubis. And we'll tell you how the country's main gateway managed over the weekend after a global software outage caused tens of thousands of flight delays and cancellations. Then in Our News at 7:30, BPL workers threaten strike action over energy reform disputes. We'll tell you the stark ultimatum. Our News live at 7 starts right now. Welcome to Our News Live at 7. Thanks for joining us tonight. I'm Kendino Knowles. Just who's going to fill that shoe? Well, the popular Bahamian song is being used to describe the nursing shortage, even as government moves full throttle with plans for a new hospital. Joshua Williams reports tonight on how the union representing frontline healthcare workers is concerned about who will staff the new facility.
I guess the powers that be probably have a round pipe and could pull some nurses out of a hat, but the way I see it, I don't see that happening.
The government's plans to construct a new hospital seem to be well underway, but the Bahamas Nurses Union is concerned. Will there be enough nurses to staff the new facility? The country's nursing shortage has been well documented over the years, and with the groundbreaking for the new hospital set for as early as next year, Union President Muriel Lightbourne says she has her doubts.
To say that we're going to be able to equip the new hospital with manpower, that's, I don't know how realistic that is, because if you have an existing hospital that you cannot equip with the manpower, we cannot staff that adequately as it is. I don't know how we're going to be able to staff another hospital.
Successive governments have tried various solutions over the years, including bringing in nurses from other Latin American countries. However, Lightbourne says these efforts have not always been entirely effective.
There's always some issues when we bring in nurses from abroad, whether it's cultural, whether it's language barrier, whatever it is. And sometimes when we bring them in, we find that they are not, they're not equipped to do what we really need.
Lightbourne also acknowledging the number of nurses leaving our shores to pursue careers abroad. It's something she says government should pay close attention to.
But I'm hoping that we can retain our nurses, and I feel like we need to move into having our nurses, motivating our nurses to stay.
Reporting for Our News, I'm Joshua Williams.
All right, thanks a lot for that, Josh. Well, one day after a trade union expressed its outrage over conditions at the Morgue, Public Hospitals Authority advising that services at Princess Margaret Hospital's morgue resumed since Friday, July 19th. A statement from the PHA says it followed a brief closure due to a diesel spill in an isolated, decommissioned boiler room. PHA says it took swift action to rectify the matter, employing all necessary measures to promptly implement a swift resolution to the issue. Still, a persistent odor remained, prompting concerns from employees. According to PHA, an inspection showed only a faint residual odor. As a result, PHA says it partnered with Rubis for final cleanup alongside the cleaning of drains on the premises. And 2 men have been charged with causing the death of a 38-year-old American woman who was run over by a boat while snorkeling at Pink Sands Beach in Harbor Island. Boat Captain Alden Barry and Charles Reginald Cash, the boat's owner, charged with manslaughter by negligence in the June 22nd death of Allison Dick. The boat's owner also charged with failure to submit a vessel for inspection, operating a boat with expired registration, employing a person to run a boat without a business license, and operating without a business license. The men were not required to plead to the charges. They were granted $9,500 bail. Barry and Cash, they're expected back in court on November 21st to be indicted. Well, all roads lead to November, where a new United States president will be elected. It came during a historic last few weeks. But with such a stark difference in policy positions, what impact could this have on the Bahamas? Bethany McDermott looks for the answer.
As the United States presidential race heat up, a big question for Bahamians remain the impact a Harris or Trump-led administration will have on the Bahamas. Foreign Affairs Minister Fred Mitchell believes either way our position will remain the same.
Broadly speaking, there'd be no changes if the Harris administration succeeds Joe Biden's administration. On a practical level, if the Trump administration succeeds, I don't expect there to be any changes either.
In fact, foreign officers in the United States were instructed Wednesday morning to provide an assessment of what a change in administration could look like. Mitchell's instructions are to focus on 3 key components: climate change, immigration, and gun policies. It's no secret both sides have completely different views on this issue.
The question is whether or not rhetoric translates into policy. People during campaigns say many things. The question is what actually happens in fact.
The U.S. presidential race took a sharp turn in recent weeks when President Joe Biden announced he would leave the race and endorse Harris to be the party's nominee. It came after tense calls for him to leave the race after multiple blunders and a presidential debate that left many questioning his ability to hold the post. Kamala Harris became the first black woman and Asian American to lead a majority party ticket. Her campaign raised $81 million in the first 24 hours of the announcement. Mitchell believes her fast rise should be a positive marker for young politicians everywhere.
Politics is a fortuitous business, and one of the things is you're in politics for the long term. Survivability is the watchword, and therefore the important thing is to be in the room, at the table, and in the circle, because you never know what can happen.
Reporting for Our News, I'm Bethany McDermott.
All right, thanks for that, Bethany. Meanwhile, members of the Union of Tertiary Educators of the Bahamas and Bahamas Technical and Vocational Institute will finally see the payment of 100% of outstanding funds. That's according to Union President Daniel Thompson. It comes after months of protests outside the school's campus and discussions with the institution over a number of issues. One of the major challenges, the grandfathering process, which simply involves the movement of instructional employees from former outdated job classifications to now having clearly defined classifications agreed to back in 2022. President Thompson says it's something his members have fought long and hard for.
Well, we are really excited because what it does is it moves us from what we had referred to as the plantation, the plantocracy sort of mentality, to coming into our promised land. So finally, after many years of very limited upward mobility opportunities, we have now settled in fixed promotional levels that staff, current and future staff, faculty, instructional persons at the Institute can now plan their career.
And Thompson sharing that there is still one more matter to be addressed.
There's still one of those part items that's outstanding. It has to do with the teaching load, and we anticipate that this matter can very quickly, or will very quickly, be settled before the semester starts. And so we're looking forward to that, and we hope our members can enjoy the last few days of their summer break and be refreshed to return in August to teach the youth and of our nation.
All right, we've got much more to get to tonight, but for now, it's time for your first look at temperatures. Meteorologist Greg Thompson is standing by in the Weather Center. Greg?
Thanks, Indian. And how does that West Indian or Sokosongo? Hot. It has been hot for the last several days. And we're still in that rinse and repeat regime. 87 degrees. It's really warm on the outside. Few clouds, east-southeast winds. We have a little more bit of a breeze this evening again. So it's shaving a little bit of the temperature, but it still feels like a very warm 97 degrees on the outside. Temperature-wise, it's 87 in Freeport, 86 in Marsh Harbor, Abaco, Governor's Harbor, over in Great Harbor Key. 87 Allenstown, Bimini, you guys have some showers nearby. 87 also in Nicholstown, Andros, as well as here in the capital. Central Bahamas, 87. Kemps Bay, pick up 85s. Georgetown, Arthurstown, Cat Island, Copen Townsend, Salvador, Deadman's Key, 84. And into the southeast Bahamas. Mid-80s there with 84 in Duncantown, Ragged Island, and in Abrams Bay. Colonel Hill, Crooked Island, and Delectable Bay, you guys 85. Providenciales, 81. And deep south, Matthewtown, Inagua, you round out our temperature profile at 86. Satellite radar composite. Dry air mass in place. Very little in terms of any rainfall out there. We have a lot of dry air. There's an upper level low spinning out there. But on the western side of that, it's importing some dry air across our area. Saharan dust has moved out into the Gulf of Mexico, and this will be the regime for the next day or two before this low gets nearer to us by the weekend. And we could see an increase in some showers and maybe even some cooler temperatures by then. That's your first look at weather. Stick with us. A look at your extended forecast is still to come.
Thanks, Greg. And still to come on our news, Nathaniel Bastien begins a pro career in France, and Willis Mackey Jr. coaching at Chipola Junior College. Our Sports at 7, presented by 10th Year Seniors, is up next. Stay with us. Injuries lead to a new job for Willis Mackey Jr. Plus, Team Bahamas currently in third place at the World Clubs Tournament. Our Sports is up now.
Welcome to Our Sports at 7, presented by 10th Year Seniors. I'm Ronaldo Dorset. That's John Mark Nutt. Let's do show. Willis Mackey Jr.'s transition from the court to the sideline will begin at Chipola Junior College. As he saw his playing career coming to an end, Mackey discovered an interest in coaching and found a way to stay close to the game.
Every doctor I was going to was pretty much telling me like the state of my knee was like pretty bad. One doctor told me, I have a knee of like a 55-year-old, and I was at that time 26. And so I was already kind of in the back of my mind just trying to figure out what might be the next move. But I always knew that I wanted to stay close to the game in some way. I studied accounting in college. I know I didn't want to do that.
Bahamas Equestrian had an impressive showing on day one at the World Clubs Tournament in France. The team is currently third behind China and France.
We're on trade deadline watch, but Jazz Chisholm continues to rake. He went 2 for 4 with 2 RBI in the Marlins' 6-3 win over the Baltimore Orioles last night at Lone Depot Park in Miami.
Nathaniel Bastien's early stages of his pro career takes him to France. Bastian signed with Pays Solanas Basket 13 of the NM2 League. His college career included play at several different levels, concluding at Texas Perryman Basin last spring.
Sebastian Walcott went deep for home run number 8 on the season. Walcott's 3-run shot broke a tie ball game in the bottom of the 7th inning as his Hickory Crawdads went on to win 7-5 over the Greenville Drive. That'll do it for our sports. This is 10YS. Stay tuned to our news at 7:30 for details on these stories and
When
more.
our news comes back from the break, we turn our spotlight to stories making headlines across the world as body cam footage reveals Secret Service and local law enforcement response to Trump assassination attempt. Plus, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu vows to continue war against Hamas in a U.S. Congress address amid protests and boycotts. And U.S. House leaders demand testimony from CrowdStrike CEO on that recent global tech outage. When our news returns.
Welcome. No travel, no problem. Summer is here. Whether you're fighting to stay cool or heating up the fun, Our News Weekend is your guide to the ultimate staycation. We're talking all of the hidden gems right in our backyard, from the hottest bars and lounges to the coolest excursions and events in town. So stay cool, stay local, and stay tuned. Tune in every Saturday to make sure your summer staycation is an unforgettable sensation. Only on Our News Weekend.
The Paradise Hotel.
When can I sell?
Is this what the hotel is really worth?
The kids find themselves on more exciting island adventures.
So stay tuned for some really hot new episodes.
This is 242 The Gospel.
This video needs to show us on a different scale. It has to be
extra.
What are you? Hey, Quay.
Hey, what you saying?
Where you is?
I heard you on the bus stop with my friend.
Okay, so we want to shoot this video, and it's gonna be extra.
All right, Jim. I can just come to you. All right. I need you 25 cents no more.
This is our news. Welcome back. We turn our attention now to stories making headlines across the world. Body cam footage shows Secret Service and local law enforcement near the deceased gunman, Thomas Matthew Crooks, following the attempted assassination of Donald Trump at a rally in Pennsylvania 10 days ago. Crooks fired from a rooftop, killing one man and wounding 2 others before being shot by a counter sniper. Trump was injured but survived. The body cam video was posted on X by Senator Chuck Grassley's office and shows discussions between officers about the shooter, an abandoned bike, and detained crowd members. Secret Service Director Kim Cheadle resigned over the security lapses, calling the shooting a significant operational failure. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu addressed the United States Congress today, vowing to continue Israel's war against Hamas until achieving total victory. He said Israel will fight until it destroys Hamas's military capabilities, its rule in Gaza, and bring all hostages home. Netanyahu's remarks come amid ongoing U.S.-led ceasefire talks, which have yet to yield results. Thousands of protesters gathered near the Capitol, denouncing the war and Netanyahu's leadership. Over 50 congressional Democrats boycotted the speech in protest. And tragedy struck in Nepal Tuesday as a Surya Airlines flight crashed and caught fire shortly after takeoff from Kathmandu, killing 18 people. The pilot, the only survivor, is said to be in hospital with non-life-threatening injuries. The flight carrying 17 company employees and 2 crew members was heading to Pokhara for a routine maintenance check. Eyewitnesses described hearing a loud noise and seeing the plane engulfed in flames. Nepal's aviation industry has faced criticism for its poor safety record Authorities are investigating the cause, with initial reports suggesting the plane veered in the wrong direction. And U.S. House leaders are calling on CrowdStrike CEO George Kurtz to testify about the company's role in a massive tech outage last Friday that disrupted flights, banks, and hospitals worldwide. The outage caused by a faulty software update affected around 8.5 million Windows machines. House Homeland Security Committee chairs Mark Green and Andrew Garbarino have demanded detailed explanations and mitigation plans from CrowdStrike, which has seen its stock drop over 20% since the incident. And after that software outage on Friday resulted in those tens of thousands of flight delays and cancellations worldwide, officials at Lynden Pinling International Airport tell us how they managed over the weekend. Arlena Leonard is following this.
Weekend operations here at LPIA continue to be impacted by the IT concerns in the wake of the CrowdStrike faulty security upgrade. While conditions improved over Friday, July 19th, up to Saturday, the airport was still experiencing delays and some cancellations.
It all started last Friday when a routine software update at cybersecurity company CrowdStrike kicked off what's being called the largest IT outage in history. The widespread tech meltdown caused chaos in aviation, banking, and broadcasting.
According to FlightAware, over 42,000 flights were delayed and almost 5,000 canceled on Friday. And here at the Lynden Pinling International Airport, they also felt the impact of that outage.
At the time, Vice President of Marketing and Commercial Development at the Nassau Airport Development Company, Jan Knowles, gave us this update.
Bahamas Customs and Immigration are also able to process arriving passengers, and U.S. Customs and Border Protection officers are currently operating on a backup system to process U.S.-bound travelers. So persons are able to travel, flights are coming and going.
But the airport is back on its feet, with Knowles telling us as of Monday of this week,
operations, we are pleased to report, are back to normal.
Reporting for Our News, I'm Marlena Leonard.
Still to come in Our News, Today in History. Find out interesting facts about the day that was July 24th. Then in Our News at 7:30, the labor community pushes for a minimum wage increase amid rising costs and global trends. And Sylvans Mateo resurfaces on social media, making disparaging comments about the Royal Bahamas Police Force. The police chief responds when Our News returns.
No travel, no problem. Summer is here. Whether you're fighting to stay cool or heating up the fun, Our News Weekend is your guide to the ultimate staycation. We're talking all of the hidden gems right in our backyard, from the hottest bars and lounges to the coolest excursions and events in town. So stay cool, stay local, and stay tuned. Tune in every Saturday to make sure your summer staycation is an unforgettable sensation. Only on Our News Weekend.
On this day in Bahamian history in 1930, Patrick Henry Burns died in Brooklyn, New York at the age of 60. Burns was an electrical engineer and became the first superintendent of the telegraph in the Bahamas. With his help, the Bahamas embarked on an ambitious journey to lay a 230-mile-long telegraph cable that linked us to the United States for several years. Then in 1969, Ulrich Alexander Fox was born in Toronto, Canada.
Known professionally as Rick Fox, he is a former professional basketball player, actor, producer, businessman, and esports franchise owner. Born to Bahamian businessman Ulrich Fox Sr. and Canadian track and field athlete Diane Roberta Gerace, Fox moved to the Bahamas as a young child. He entered the 1991 National Basketball Association draft and played for the Boston Celtics and Los Angeles Lakers, winning 3 championships. He also acted in Hollywood films and series such as Blue Chips, Greenleaf, The Game, and Oz. Then in 2016, American sculptor James Richard Maston died in Miami, Florida. Maston was a world-renowned artist and sculptor who helped design and build the Loyalist Memorial Sculpture Garden on Green Turtle Key, Abaco, a national treasure since 1987. He also sculpted a bronze statue of St. Francis Xavier in front of the cathedral in 1988. And finally in 2022, a tragedy at sea claimed the lives of 17 suspected illegal migrants. Police reported the migrants were victims of an alleged failed smuggling attempt from New Providence. The 30-foot speedboat reportedly capsized some 7 miles off New Providence. 25 persons were rescued and were turned over to health officials for monitoring. However, some were still missing. In an arraignment last month, the 4 men charged with manslaughter pleaded not guilty.
Utopia of the Seas recently made its inaugural voyage to the Bahamas with thousands of guests and a Bahamian woman as first officer. Jean Joseph tells you about Royal Caribbean's newest ship and what it means for the country.
We're here at the Utopia of the Seas, the newest addition to the Royal Caribbean fleet of cruise lines. And nearly 1,200 feet long and almost 200 feet wide, we're here to tell you what the big story is all about. Royal Caribbean's Utopia of the Seas boasts 18 decks and the capacity to host nearly 6,000 guests. The ship is larger than its sister, Wonder of the Seas. The Bahamian-registered vessel commenced its inaugural cruise from Port Canaveral on July 19th, arriving at the Nassau Cruise Port Sunday, July 21st. Acting Prime Minister and Minister of Tourism, Chester Cooper, says the long-standing relationship between Royal Caribbean and the Bahamas has been fruitful, and he looks forward to more success as the company embarks on this all-Bahamian cruise.
Certainly with the proximity to Florida, it makes a great deal of sense to have 2 sailings to the Bahamas a week. That's an average of 16,000 individuals who get to experience the ship and experience the product.
With Utopia of the Seas adding a considerable number of guests to our shores visiting Perfect Day at Coco Key and Nassau, Cooper encourages tourism professionals to capitalize on new opportunities and urges more Bahamians to buy in.
I continue, though, to call on Bahamians to invest downtown, particularly on the east end of Bay Street. We should see some new developments happening there. We have a new incubation center, and there's significant opportunity to be had.
The voyage is historic for many reasons, but most importantly, it's the first time a Bahamian woman serves as a first officer on board a Royal Caribbean vessel. 32-year-old Ivana Seymour says the journey to her present role was challenging, but worthwhile.
I'm grateful for it. I'm excited for it. I know when I first started, not much did it, so I'm happy to see that it's progressing in the way it is.
Reporting for Our News, I'm Jean Joseph.
Thanks for that, Jean. If you want to watch that story again and for all of today's top stories, you can visit ournews.bs and, of course, Our News Bahamas on Facebook. That's going to do it for us in News at 7. Joining us now is Marlena Leonard in for Talia Hall with the latest headlines. Marlena?
Thanks, Ken. Well, the labor community pushes for minimum wage increase amid rising costs and global trends. And Sylvan's Mateo resurfaces on social media. Here are your latest headlines. First tonight on Our News Live at 7:30, BPL workers on the brink of taking industrial action. The group calling on government to sit down and discuss their concerns. The Bahamas Electrical Union president speaks straight ahead.
INTI Corporation is on the move, day by day, panel by panel. Our commitment to sustainable energy becomes more real. With each milestone, INTI redefines what is possible. Not only are the Lucayas solar power projects on the island of Grand Bahama growing in scale, they are setting a new standard for energy independence in the Bahamas. These state-of-the-art solar farms at the Fairfield and Devon sites, once completed, will harness the power of the sun to generate 9.5 megawatts of clean, sustainable energy. Inti is on the move as a beacon of progress and innovation that is rapidly transforming our energy landscape. Witness the future of sustainable energy unfolding on the island of Grand Bahama as Inti Corporation shines brighter than ever. Inti Corporation, powering your world, powering your future.
Bahamas Power and Light Company Limited looks forward to helping our customers eliminate wasted energy. Energy conservation is the decision and practice of using less energy. Energy efficiency means using less energy to perform the same task, unplugging appliances not in use. That's energy conservation. Replacing an old refrigerator, washing machine with a new model, adding insulation to the attic and walls of a home. That's energy efficiency. People conserve to gain more control over their energy bill and to reduce demand on the Earth's natural resources. Take this journey with us as we build for better. BPL.
You've seen electric cars on the road, but isn't it time you drive one? Easy Car Sales invites you to experience the smooth, powerful ride and immerse yourself in the luxury and latest tech features. Find out why the Bahamas is going electric. Visit easy242.com and book your test drive now. What are you waiting for? Save money, drive smarter. There's an EV waiting for you at Easy Car Sales.
No travel, no problem. Summer is here, whether you're fighting to stay.
Welcome to Our News, and thanks for joining us. I'm Marlena Leonard. 600 BPL employees are on the brink of industrial action, and it follows alleged failure of government to come to the table to discuss recent energy reform plans. As Silvardo Emanuel reports tonight, the head of the union says discussions on these critical plans need to happen now.
A stark ultimatum Wednesday morning from President of Bahamas Electrical Workers Union, Kyle Wilson, for government to meet with the union or face industrial action. Wilson says his members are concerned about recent energy reform plans that could reshape operations at the power company.
This deal appears to be top secret and classified, and little to no information of the details is known to the union.
Back in June, Energy and Transport Minister Jobet Colby Davis revealed plans that would reform the country's energy sector and a partnership with local company Island Grid. She also assured BPL workers the partnership would not lead to layoffs, insisting the existing industrial agreement would not be impacted. However, Wilson says otherwise, making this claim.
When the minister responsible for energy was asked if she could elaborate on the future of workers at BPL as it relates to the deals with Bahamas Grid and Island Grid companies, she emphatically said no. They're not speaking with us, they're just telling in agreement that they're going to second the workers for a year, and then after the year the workers have a choice. But in the document it says they're hiring BPL workers into this company. It doesn't even say secondary. And then they say they have a choice to come back. But what are you coming back to if I just gave control of your job to the separate entity?
It's what's signaling the potential shutdown, as Wilson says questions over BPL's future and the livelihood of its workforce hangs in the balance.
The Ministry of Energy and Transport responded in a statement this afternoon, reiterating the government's commitment to protecting the job security of BPL union workers, saying all industrial agreements and commitments made to workers, including pension benefits, will be met. The statement mentions BPL met with both BPL unions, advising them of the upcoming changes and plans for blended working relationships, including opportunities for training and development. The ministry renewed its commitment to share information and listen to any concerns with BPL staff, adding that there is an upcoming meeting to provide further clarity and address outstanding questions. Well, calls for an increase in minimum wage are once again resonating loudly within the labor community. Their reasoning includes the rising cost of living, credible research, and global trends. Our Joshua Williams spoke with a union leader on the matter and reports.
The Bahamas Trade Union Congress has been vocal on a number of issues, including minimum wage. The last increase came in 2022 when Prime Minister Philip Davis announced a raise from $210 per week to $260, the first increase since 2015. However, Union President Obi Ferguson says statistics show that the current minimum wage of $260 simply no longer cuts it.
We have a survey done by the University of the Bahamas for Grand Bahama and for Nassau. And it seemed to me the minimum, and I need to get my colleagues to agree with this, but the minimum, it has to be 350. That's the minimum.
Ferguson has been vocal on a number of issues, including continual calls for a labor overhaul, as he emphasized in his Labor Day message to the country. When it comes to a reasonable wage, he cites the high cost of living and inflation, not only in the Bahamas but around the world, as the main reasons for an increase.
Because if you look at what the cost of living is today, you can't tell me that $200 and something is what we consider to be reasonable. In the United States, the minimum wage is $7 and some cents. And in some cases now it's gone up to $15. Okay? So, we model everything we do here in the Bahamas based on America.
Now the union says they won't leave it to government alone. They hope to assist in drafting new legislation to make it all possible.
We will have a position paper advanced to the government. We also intend to draft a bill, our own bill. We're not going to rely on the government to do it. We will prepare that and have that available to the press. My colleagues would react to it. They would consider it and ratify it. And once that is done, you will see some movement.
Reporting for Our News, I'm Joshua Williams.
Now that Sylvan's Mateo has resurfaced on social media after being shot, he's made several disparaging comments about members of the Royal Bahamas Police Force. Earlier this week, we asked Police Commissioner Clayton Fernander if police have made any attempts to reach out to the informant to verify if his comments are credible. The top cop answered this way.
I don't listen to him, only from what I hear out there. I don't listen to him, and I know that we are, from our respective, some persons made some complaints, and they will be investigated.
Leaders from the Grand Bahamian faith community adding their voices to conversations around new marijuana laws. They say they're concerned there may not be enough local data and that loopholes may lead to improper use.
We want to join in saying that we support the position that the Bahamas Christian Council has taken, that the faith community, the Christian community, can only accept and support that narrow part of the bill, that narrow initiative of the bill, which speaks to medical use of cannabis or marijuana.
That's President of the Grand Bahama Christian Council, Reverend Kenneth Lewis, joined by other Grand Bahamian faith leaders with serious concerns about the potential changes to marijuana legislation. The bills will remove cannabis from the list of dangerous drugs and allow for the expungements of records for individuals convicted of possession of 30 grams or less of marijuana. They also allow for application to the authority for a religious organization license to distribute to its members as a sacrament. This aspect is something these Christian leaders find concerning.
There are too many loopholes. I mean, this bill is designed to create loopholes for a person to engage in the growing of marijuana, the sale of marijuana, and the use of marijuana. And if we can't police underage use of alcohol, how are we going to police this?
Many of them also call for studies to be done locally instead of using international data to reflect potential Bahamian outcomes.
So I caution the government not to sign this bill, but to step back and to seek more consultation with the faith community and do more studies. Let the students at UB do a real study this country, as Pastor Lockhart said. Persons in this country, in our context, in our culture, and then let's see what the study says.
Reporting for Our News, I'm Marlena Leonard.
We've got much more to get to tonight, but for now, meteorologist Greg Thompson is in the Weather Center with your first look at weather. And Greg, I heard you saying hot, hot, hot earlier, and I suspect these temperatures will remain high?
That's so hot, 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 yeah. We do still have a heat advisory in place for most of the chain of islands, including Turks and Caicos Island. We do have a dry air mass in place. High pressure is building across us. Most of that moisture with that tropical wave is well to the west of us. So yeah, we are going to stay hot for the remainder of the week. And then we have an upper level low that could bring us some showers. We'll show that in our satellite picture, but Warm conditions still on the outside. 86 degrees is our current temperature. East-southeast winds. We have a breeze, so it's shaving a little bit off the temperature. Feels like temperature, but it is still a very warm 97 degrees on the outside. Satellite radar composite. Upper level low that's spinning to the east of the Bahamas. There's a very dry air mass on the west side of that is invading the islands, and that's going to continue to keep us mostly cloud-free and rain-free. So we're looking at warm temperatures tonight. Once again, we're looking for those hot temperatures, triple-digit indices, but this is going to get a little closer to us for the weekend, so we could see a little bit of a relief for some showers in the forecast. That's a quick check on conditions around the islands. Stick with us to look at your extended forecast. Is still to come.
Still to come on Our News. Foreign Affairs Minister Fred Mitchell tells us Prime Minister Philip Davis is expected back in country this weekend after a successful surgery. We have his full comments straight ahead. And tonight, our Jerome Sawyer takes us island hopping through the Exuma Keys as the Our News to the Islands adventure continues. Stay with us.
No travel, no problem. Summer is here. Whether you're fighting to stay cool or heating up the fun, Our News Weekend is your guide to the ultimate staycation. We're talking all of the hidden gems right in our backyard, from the hottest bars and lounges to the coolest excursions and events in town. So stay cool, stay local, and stay tuned. Tune in every Saturday to make sure your summer staycation is an unforgettable sensation. Only on Our News Weekend.
The Paradise Hotel.
When can I sell?
Is this what the hotel is really worth?
The kids find themselves on more exciting island adventures.
So stay tuned for some really hot new episodes.
This is 242 The Gospel.
This video needs to show us on a different scale. It has to be
extra.
What are you? Hey, Quay.
Hey, what you saying?
Where you with?
I read you on the bus stop with my friend.
Okay, so we want to shoot this video, and it's gonna be extra.
All right, Jim. I can just come to you. All right.
Prime Minister Philip Davis is expected back in country this weekend, according to Foreign Affairs Minister Fred Mitchell. This after Davis completed successful sciatica surgery, a condition he's been toiling with for months. Health and Wellness Minister Dr. Michael Darville recently revealed the Prime Minister has been experiencing severe pain, mostly while standing. Mitchell telling Our News the Prime Minister is doing well.
He's fine. The doctors have asked him not to travel, just as a precaution, but he's fine. And hopefully we'll be home by the weekend.
And when he's back, is he content to start working again, or he has to be?
No, there's no convalescence. Convalescence is taking place. I think after the surgery, they just want to be sure that things are in order. So they asked for just a period but there's no confinement or incapacity or any of those things. He's fine.
Well, our adventures and island hopping through the Exuma Keys with our Jerome Sawyer continue tonight with the iguanas, famous movie locations, fresh local cuisine, and an infamous plane wreck dive site. Stay with us to learn more about why he says there's something in Exuma for everyone.
Coming up in sports, Willis Mackey Jr. officially begins his coaching career, and Equestrian Bahamas off to an impressive start after day one in France.
And later, we're island hopping through the Exuma Keys with our Jerome Sawyer as the Our News to the Islands adventure continues.
No travel, no problem. Summer is here. Whether you're fighting to stay cool or heating up the fun, Our News Weekend is your guide to the ultimate staycation. We're talking all of the hidden gems right in our backyard, from the hottest bars and lounges to the coolest excursions and events in town. So stay cool, stay local, and stay tuned. Tune in every Saturday to make sure your summer staycation is an unforgettable sensation. Only on Our News Weekend.
The Paradise Hotel.
When can I sell?
Is this what the hotel is really worth?
The kids find themselves on more exciting island adventures.
So stay tuned for some really hot new episodes.
This is 242 the gospel.
This video needs to show us on a different scale. It has to be
Extra. What, eh?
Hey, Quay.
Hey, what you saying?
Where you with?
I heard you on the bus stop with my friend.
Okay, so we want to shoot this video, and it's gonna be extra.
All right, Jim. I can just come to you. All right. I need your 25 cents no more.
Welcome to Our Sports, presented by 10th Year Seniors. I'm Ronaldo Dorset. That's Sean Mark Nutt. Let's do show. Willis Mackey Jr. joins the growing list of former national basketball team players to get an early start in coaching. Mackey will join the staff of Chipola College as an assistant coach for the upcoming fall campaign. Chipola is a junior college powerhouse that has won 2 consecutive conference championships and has made 3 consecutive appearances in the NJC 2A tournament.
I've been in contact with Bahamian coaches and everything. I want to bring at least one Bahamian with me. Like, if it's not this year, then it's the next. But I want to be a bridge between the U.S. and the Bahamas in some way, to be able to bring on a player with me.
Several Bahamian players have played at Chipola in recent years, including Valerie Nesbitt, Paul Green, and Dayton Albury. Mackey graduated from the University of Northwestern Ohio in Lima, Ohio, and spent 5 seasons playing professionally in Spain and France. Over the last few years, Mackey has been a regular for the senior men's national team. He appeared at the FIBA AmeriCup qualifiers, World Cup pre-qualifiers, and the World Cup qualifiers. At last month's FIBA Olympic qualifier, he served as the video coordinator for Team Bahamas, a role that prepared him for the next step in his career.
Video coordinator, you would think it's just a one thing, but it's not, because your actual position is assistant coach. In other words, you assist everything that the head coach needs. I like to think of it like the meetings were always like this big, well-oiled machine, all pushing information to the head coach.
After day 1 at the World Clubs tournament in France, Team Bahamas sits in 3rd place. The team of Katrina Koyejo, Ella Sadie, and Sienna Tinker trail only China and France at the event in Le Mont-Brevant, France.
It was definitely a lot of pressure being the last to go, but my teammates took some stress off of me by doing well, and I'm very proud of them. I'm pretty excited for tomorrow. Today we had a clear round, it was fun, and I thought it went pretty well, so I'm pretty excited for tomorrow.
Participating teams also include Belgium, Chile, Italy, Malta, Czech Republic, and Turkey. Ray Birch is the head coach of Team Bahamas.
I think it went really well. I think we're off to a good start, that we're in third place at the moment. There's always room to improve and move up.
The hits keep coming for Jazz Chisholm, and it couldn't happen at a better time. It's trade deadline week. Chisholm went 2 for 4 with a double and 2 RBI in his Miami Marlins 6-3 series opening win over the Baltimore Orioles last night at Lone Depot Park in Miami. In the second inning, he laced a 2 RBI double that gave the Marlins an early 4-1 lead. He also recorded 2 stolen bases. Chisholm had another highlight defensively when he made a throw from center field that caught Colton Cowser at third on a Ryan Mountcastle single. Only 4 players in the MLB have more than 13 home runs and 21 stolen bases this season: Shohei Ohtani, Ali De La Cruz, Bobby Witt Jr., and Jazz Chisholm. Despite his production, the narrative in the American media paints a picture of a lukewarm trade market for Chisholm thus far. Miami is in last place in the National League East at 36-65. That'll do it for our sports. This is 10YS.
Willis got a lot of catching up to do when it comes to winning with Team Bahamas and coaching.
How many wins you got?
2.
Back to the studio.
Still ahead on Our News tonight. Between the iguanas, famous movie locations, fresh local cuisine, and an infamous plane wreck dive site, there's something for everyone. Our Jerome Sawyer's adventures in the Exuma Keys continue. But first,
No travel, no problem. Summer is here. Whether you're fighting to stay cool or heating up the fun, Our News Weekend is your guide to the ultimate staycation. We're talking all of the hidden gems right in our backyard, from the hottest bars and lounges to the coolest excursions and events in town. So stay cool, stay local, and stay tuned. Tune in every Saturday to make sure your summer staycation is an unforgettable sensation. Only on Our News Weekend.
The Paradise Hotel.
When can I sell? Is this what the hotel is really worth?
The kids find themselves on more exciting island adventures.
So stay tuned for some really hot new episodes.
This is 242 the Gospel.
This video needs to show us on a different scale. It has to be
Extra. What, eh?
Hey, Quay.
Hey, what you saying?
Where you with?
I right here on the bus stop with my friend.
Okay, so we want to shoot this video, and it's gonna be extra.
All right, Jim. I can just come to you. All right. I need your 25 cents no more.
This is Our News. Welcome back. We are going to start you off with a look at our water vapor imagery, and that's basically showing what's happening in the mid and upper levels. Remember, we have this dry air mass on the west side of an upper level low that's been spinning just to the east of the Bahamas. That's going to continue to keep us rain-free, cloud-free, so we're looking at some very hot temperatures over the next couple of days, so that heat advisory will remain in place. But eventually this upper level low will slide towards the west. Moisture on the east side of that should bring us a relief on the weekend, so we could see some temperatures relief for, and those indices, triple digits, they could be taking a little bit of a dip during that time frame. But cloud-free conditions across the area due to the high pressure surface, high pressure in place, and a dry air mass in place. And of course, the tropics, we are now moving out of July and into August, and it's starting to get a little active out there. We have a couple of tropical waves, but this one that's coming off of Africa. We're going to continue to watch that one. It's by next week, it gets into the middle to the near the Leeward Islands, and it has the potential for some formation, so we're going to continue to watch that one very closely. The remainder of the tropics quiet, the Gulf of Mexico as well as the Caribbean not showing much in terms of any organization. Most of the activity in the Gulf of Mexico will be moving into Mexico at this time. Taking a look at our future forecast, nothing happening across us, just a few small showers, and they're going to be fast-moving showers due to the wind speed that we've been having over the last couple of days. And of course, Friday, we introduce some more moisture as that upper level low gets into our area during that period. Boating forecast. Caution flag still in place for the Northwest Bahamas. Winds will be southeasterly 15 knots. Seas running 3 to 5 feet. Still some easterly swells out there, so do exercise caution. High tide is at 11:10 tonight. Low tide at 5:35 in the morning. For the central and southeast Bahamas, caution flag in place for you guys down there as well. Stronger winds, easterly to southeast, 15 to 20 knots. Seas running 4 to 7 feet in some easterly swells. Here's a look now at your national forecast. In the extended forecast, quiet tomorrow. We have a couple isolated showers, but Saturday, Friday, more moisture in place. And then, of course, as that low gets out of here, conditions improve. Temperatures will be back in the 90s. That's a look at our weather. Back to you, Marlena.
Thanks, Greg. Well, did you know Exuma has hundreds of keys and rocks? So it only stands to reason that there must be something on at least one of them that will entice you to visit. Our Jerome Sawyer and the On the Record team are in Exuma this week, shooting for an upcoming special. And they're bringing us just a glimpse into the many different experiences there.
A good boat and a good boat captain are pretty much all you need to enjoy the adventures in Exuma. Our guide today, they call him Captain Incredible, and we're about to find out why.
So yes, Captain Incredible.
All right. For starters, he dives up the conch, the main ingredient for our conch salad later today. So hold that thought for now. First up, the famous airplane wreckage. The ill-fated flight of the 80s is a favorite for snorkelers. As we move along these pristine emerald and turquoise-colored waters, we soon approach Iguana Key. The ride in is mesmerizing. It's like a movie set from an epic adventure you've seen now coming to life. Cue music from your favorite dinosaur movie. For me, it's Jurassic Park, and here comes the iguanas, happy to feast on lettuce while posing for visitor pics and flicks. For the James Bond fans who happen to love underwater adventure, the Thunderball Grotto is your spot, made famous by the 1965 James Bond Thunderball movie with Sean Connery. You can probably tell it's a personal favorite. Not a fan of the underwater experience? No problem. The world-famous pigs are sure to be a crowd pleaser for you. Oliver is the star here, accompanied by a cast of friendly, fun-loving pigs. Unless, of course, you're like this reporter who's still working on proper pig handling. And speaking of conquering fears, next was Compass Key to feed sharks. It's the kind of thing you say you'll never do until you actually try it. Where else in the world would you hug a shark? Remember those conchs? Well, Captain Incredible is also touted as the best conch salad maker, a title we happily tested while anchored at a sand dune between Big Pipe and Little Pipe Key. You'll have to watch the full On the Record episode to find out if he actually lives up to the title.
If you just simply want to enjoy all of this beauty around you, then certainly Exuma is the place for you. I've got one bit of advice, well, maybe two. Make sure you pack some swim trunks or bathing suit, bring some sunblock, but above all, just bring an open mind and get ready to have a good time. From the conch swing at Little Pipe Key, I'm Jerome Sawyer reporting for Our News.
Wow, what a ride. I'm definitely a James Bond fan, and Jerome, we are all expecting you to bring us back some of that Exuma conch. So if you want to see that story again, and for all of today's top stories, head over to ournews.bs, and remember you can share your favorites right from the Our News Bahamas Facebook page. And with that, we thank you for joining us for Our News Tonight. On behalf of the entire team, I'm Marlena Leonard. We'll see you tomorrow night. Have a great evening.